More dark side points. Look at, I'm almost halfway down. Oh my goodness, that is so bad. Here I said I was gonna be doing light side run. Okay. Get some powers going on up in here. Accept. Oh, I'm so evil. So we got that plate thingy. Ah, I can buy that license here and then sell it. Excellent. You'll be hearing about this, you Zerka puppet. I'm not going to let this drop. You can't just murder a whole village. And don't tell me to make my concerns to your corporate kiosk. I know when I'm not wanted. I'm done talking in this office. They aren't interested in listening to me. I doubt they will even acknowledge I was here. Typical corporate invasion. That's what happens when they own everything. No accountability. Don't even bother bringing it up. Something happened.
Can I help you? These are the offices of the Zerka Corporation. I trust you have business with the company. If this is about employment, I'm afraid all regular mining positions are full. And before you ask, we are also no longer selling hunting licenses.
No!
Griff? There's no Griff here. Never heard of him. No, I don't remember a single Griff on the Zerka Corporation payroll. Oh, you mean that Twi'lek? Must have slipped my mind for a second. Yes, of course I remember Griff. We hired that Twi'lek some time ago. Not a good worker, according to his crew chief. Always complaining and faking injuries to get out of work. He entered false timesheets and slept through his shifts. We even suspected him of stealing Zerka Corporation supplies, although we could never prove it. We would have fired him, but we needed workers. It would have been better for him if he had been fired. Then the Sand People wouldn't have gotten him. He was lost in a Sand People raid we suffered not too long ago. There were prisoners taken, but our rescue parties never found anyone alive. In the end, it just wasn't cost-effective to keep searching. All miners sign a waiver absolving Zerka Corporation of liability in these circumstances. Zerka Corporation cares deeply for all of its employees. That's why we've started a bounty program to thin the Sand People numbers. We didn't find his body, so we have to assume he was taken prisoner. Whether he's still alive, I couldn't say. That's all I can tell you. I shouldn't even have said this much. This is all privileged corporate information. I could lose my job. As I said, all employees have signed waivers absolving Zerka Corporation of any financial liability if this occurs. It is the industry standard. I suppose you could apply for special dispensation from the Zerka Corporation representative kiosk on Coruscant. Business hours only, please. Very well. As I said, we are no longer selling them. There are too many people cavorting about outside the walls as it is. Well, normally we charge 200 credits, but I could make an exception if you agreed to perform a task for us. It's similar to hunting. The Sand People are becoming a problem. They destroy our sandcrawlers and kill our miners. One particular tribe is the worst. It's as if their chieftain has decided to wage war against us. I would like their attacks terminated. Bring me their gaffy sticks as proof. If you agree to do this, I'll give you a hunting license now and pay a bounty for each stick later. I'll give a bonus for the chieftains. Which would you rather have dumped on your office floor? Besides, they're ceremonial weapons, unique to each warrior. It's just as good. Excellent. Now, just so we understand each other, this is an enforceable contract. Zerka Corporation takes this very seriously. Here's your license, and a few directions. We believe one of their enclaves is in the far south of the Dune Sea. You might try following one of our sandcrawlers. They're regularly attacked. I wouldn't mind you escorting them. Very well. I assume that by out of the ordinary you're referring to the destruction of Terra. I'm afraid Zerka Corporation is not offering any comment on those events. We wouldn't... Zerka Corporation policy is not subject to your approval. It is a sound business model. Save us your commentary. If you're looking for local events, I suggest you go to the Swoop Track, one of the few leisure industries on Tatooine. There was also a Jawa here earlier, saying something about needing help. I think he's out by the city gates. I can't be more specific about what he wanted. Our droid translators had difficulty with the message. Farewell.
Okay.
How can I help? Yes, I suppose I can understand your curiosity, given the bond that connects us. Very well. I'll tell you a bit about myself. I was found to be strong with the Force at a young age, as most Padawans are. As a girl, I was given to the Order to be trained. When I joined the Order, I left my family on Tal Ravan, as all Padawans do. My family is still there, the last that I heard. I've had little contact with them, as it is discouraged. Relationships with family members are fraught with powerful emotions. Such extremes are to be avoided. Anger and hate are the worst, but even love can lead to folly. Emotional entanglements can be dangerous. They can impair rational thought. They can lead to outbursts of uncontrolled emotion. A Jedi must be above such things. It can be a hard lesson to learn. I was not on good terms with all of my family, but I do remember missing my father terribly for a long time. I was not on good terms with my mother. I was only a little girl when I left, but I was old enough to resent her and the way she treated my father. She pushed my father into treasure hunting. I spent all my young life on ships, traveling from one false lead to the next. She whittled away my father's entire fortune, and I hated her for it. I think she was relieved to give me to the Jedi, but my father was heartbroken. A child is too young to understand the sacrifices that must be made. It's better if they have no contact with their family once they're removed. Once I was older, I realized the wisdom of this policy. A Jedi must do what is needed, personal desires notwithstanding. Love can only obscure and confuse the matter. Even a Jedi cannot always control the feelings of the heart. We must do our best to guard against it, no matter what the cost. But some sacrifices are harder than others. I do not wish to discuss this anymore. I would rather return to our mission.
Okay. Yes, what is it? This is about mining or sand people go to the Zerka officers. I just managed the storehouse. Mostly standard Zerka provisions and supplies, not enough to keep the locals happy. Have a look. Okay. Okay. Alright, so it's a shop, basically. Let's see if we can... Oh boy. Don't you believe a word of what the Zerka person says in there? There's always a peaceful solution to conflict. They're just lazy. So are you the killer they hired? Just gonna wipe them out? I expect no less from fools. The Sand people aren't animals. I've watched them, and they are intelligent. There must be a way to peacefully stop the attacks. I know it. But no one will try, of course. You can't even leave the city without Zerka approval, and they want Sand people dead. Well, yes, they did. They attacked the Zerka, who deployed numerous giant sand crawlers to start tearing up the desert, with iron shovels and whatever else. What would you have done? To Sand people, it must have seemed like an invasion. There were no negotiations for territory resources. I don't think the killing has been justified, but as the conservationist, I'm hoping someone at least tries to talk this out. Communication. If you could just speak to them, but they don't talk. At least not in any language an average translator can understand. There was even a Jedi here a few years ago that couldn't seem to get through to them. I think the end ended in blood, too. I'm not saying it would be easy, but someone has to try. Maybe with a real translation droid, not these old protocol scrap heaps walking around. They're pretty rare, even on well-stocked worlds, but I'm sure I heard something about an unusual droid in the shop here on Tatooine. I'm sure I heard Yuku Laka say that they could speak a Sand people dialect, although he says rust is gold. If that droid, maybe you could talk to him. I wouldn't survive. Maybe with desert robes and disguise, someone could get into their enclave. But it's no secret where they are. The attacks get worse the further southwest in the Doomsday you go. Then people die on both sides. I suppose you could take them off in the warrior raiders of the Doomsday, but there's no way I'd survive anything like that. Plus, you'd have to explain why you killed their warriors if you are trying to make peace, but I suppose there's no other way. Sure, that's what Zerka versions is saying, and then they just start shooting again. The fighting won't stop until they are all dead. Okay, so I guess we have two ways of solving this, obviously. The light side way, which is to talk peace, and the dark side, which is to kill them. For Zerka. Okay. Alright, I'm getting turned around here. I don't think any of these guys will, Hey, this is Jawas. Hello, buddy. Oh, boy. Nothing around here? Doesn't look like it. Okay.